You guys, it is finally here. Finding Hope in a Turbulent World is available right now at alysamassey.com. Yes, you heard that right. Before it is officially available January 7th, you can head on over to alysamassey.com and get your copy right now. Welcome to the Finding Hope Show. I'm your host, Alyssa Massey, and I am thrilled that you've joined me because my goal is to inspire you to be happy and hopeful in your everyday lives. In this show, you can expect to gain hope and encouragement through some of life's most pressing issues regarding health, business, relationships, faith, and much more. Let's face it, the world is not getting any better, but we do. Join me once a week to discover your highest potential as we learn to put God first in everything and find hope in a turbulent world. Welcome to the Finding Hope Show, everyone. My name is Alyssa Massey, and I hope that you're not only having a magnificent week or day, but that you are having a magnificent season. Speaking of seasons, as we gear up for the holiday Christmas season, I pray good health, peace, love, and joy over your family. May we truly appreciate life, not only in the Christmas season, but in every season. May we appreciate the value of life, because life is truly short. In today's episode 11, I will be talking about being consistent with your dreams. You get up another day and it's the same old routine. Over and over, you make that same black cup of coffee and eat that same piece of toast, in my case, burnt toast. Or maybe you mix it up a bit and have a donut today. Even still, the job comes, and so does the carpool. All this still goes on even when we're sick, even when we don't feel like rolling out of bed once again. Darn it. So if you must be consistent with your everyday affairs or with the things that you just have to do, like take out the trash, please, friends, decide right here now that you will be consistent with the things that you want. On episode 10, I talked about why now is not the time to give up on your dreams. Well, friends, now is the time to be consistent with your dreams. Abe Lincoln said, "Good things come to those who wait, but only what's left from those who hustle," end quote. Great things happen to those who pull through the hard times, who don't give up, who press on stronger, faster, harder, as if their life depended on it, because it just may. We know that life can be pretty miserable sometimes, but especially if you're not doing what you love. So at least chase after your dreams. Pursue what you're passionate about so that when the opposition does come, you are determined to press through. I once dwelled on the fact that if I would have not messed up in my 20s, how much farther along I would have been by now. Come on, regret never gets us anywhere. It's all part of the plan. That's not how the cards were dealt. I was dealt a different hand than expected. And sometimes that's better off. If I would not have endured the pain that I once did, then I would have never gained the experience that now assists me now in my life. It's all part of the story. Embrace it. God knew that in the end, I would make the right decisions, and He was rooting for me all along, just like He's rooting for you. But guess what? I still have much work to do. There's no time to be lagging behind now. I must decide right here now to be determined to be consistent with my dreams, and so do you. The definition of consistent, according to the Webster Dictionary, is marked by harmony, regularity, or steady continuity, free from variation or contradiction. If we want to become better people, if we want to have better things for ourselves and our families, if we want our dreams to come true, the dreams that God placed in our heart for a purpose, then we must be consistent. Think about this. Other people are depending on you because your life's mission and your goal will most certainly help someone else. Being consistent means not allowing roadblocks to get in our way. When we do approach a roadblock, we must figure out a way to go around it, or we will never get to our destination. Going around it does not mean going headfirst down a drop-off, but rather we think smarter. We turn around. We find another way. But whatever we do, we choose to never stand still. Next, we keep the pedal to the metal. The rain and the opposing traffic may come, and we may slow down a bit, but we must get to our destinations. We are determined and we are strong. We are consistent with our dream. And that is the mindset that we must have. If we start getting weak in our mental state, we allow opposition, aka the enemy, to invade our thoughts. What if the road just seems too long and too hard? We feel like we'll never get there. Well, feelings are fickle. We must have faith. I must say, I often contemplated why, when I had a medical ailment, the pain never goes away instantly. I mean, at least if I was carried in by a stretcher, I could be knocked out or something. Oh. But no, oftentimes I have to go through a process. And there's been times my body inside has felt like fire, like I was going to die. But friends, if it's truly not our last day on earth, if we're not dying, then what we are going through serves a purpose. And God helps us through every step of the way. This too shall pass. We must have faith. We may slow down a bit and we consider, how have we got to this point to begin with? Looking back in hindsight in your life, you must have made some progress. If we stop now at all, this will hinder our progress. And we know there is an enemy looking to kill, steal, and destroy us. And that is exactly what he wants to do. He wants to hinder our progress. He wants us to stop. Consider what you're fighting for, and is it worth the effort to press on? Will you stop at nothing to achieve your goal? Easier said than done, right? But what's the alternative? Letting the enemy invade your thoughts, your life? Because he creeps in ever so slowly. He knows your weaknesses, which is why we have to choose. We have to be aware. We're in this together. We have to make each other aware. The true test of how much you want what you desire is that you actually will stop at nothing to achieve your goals, your dreams, and your desires. Even when you're sick, you have faith that you will overcome, and this will serve for the greater good, because all things work for the good of those who believe. Even when people criticize you, you stand firm because the road is narrow that leads to life. Even when you feel like you're a failure, we don't believe this lie, because again, we know that God works everything out for the good. And other people, what other people think about us is their perspective, and how we think about ourselves will greatly determine our attitude, which is why we must get rooted in the Bible and what God says about us, so that we can have a good attitude about the here and now, and so that we can decide to stay strong and to press on. Decide today that you are truly willing to stop at nothing to achieve your dreams. Number 2, choose to have a good attitude along the way. And finally, choose to put God first every day, so that he will guide you step by step along the way. And as He guides you, as you allow God to guide you, you are making steps. You are gaining ground. But once you give the devil a foothold, you lose that ground. Make steps every day for Christ. Lewis Howes said that having a story is what people connect with, but the story alone doesn't allow you to achieve greatness and results. It's the day-to-day consistency of providing value to your audience. We have to take steps every day. We don't have to be overwhelmed, but we have to do something. What you do day in and day out develops habits. Habits are an essential element to acquire when being consistent with our dreams. Stephen Covey, from his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, says the following. Here's a mental exercise. Imagine that it's 3 years in the future, and sadly enough, you've passed away. Take a moment to visualize your own funeral. Imagine your loved ones, your partner, your best friend, maybe your dearest colleague, giving eulogies. Now ask yourself what you'd like them to say. What sort of person do you want to be remembered as? For what do you want to be remembered? Unfortunately, many people spend their time working toward goals that don't really matter to them because they never stop to define them properly. In short, they fail to understand the difference between being efficient and being effective. Being efficient means getting the maximum amount done in the shortest amount of time. But this is pointless if you don't know what you're striving for and why you're doing it. It's a bit like climbing a ladder that's set against the wrong wall. You are making progress, but in the wrong direction. Being effective, on the other hand, means having your ladder on the right wall. That is, knowing what your destination in life is. Effective people don't just thoughtlessly pursue things like money and fame. They focus on what's important to them. Everything else is a waste. End quote. Another good book on habits is a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits, in which he says tiny changes make remarkable habits. So, friends, in achieving our dream, we must choose to be consistent. But we have to understand what this entails. We must not get confused, and we must never make it complicated. Life is complicated. Therefore, I am suggesting to you today to start by doing simple, manageable things day after day that will give you progress. And then keep going. Attaching everything at once is like climbing a mountain. You'll get overwhelmed and you're more apt to give up. We've got to be prepared. Attach small bites at a time and just don't stop. And if you choose now to don't stop and seek God first, you'll get there. How fast you get there depends on a number of factors, of course. But if you just keep stepping and refueling yourself along the way, you are gaining mileage. You are gaining mileage and much needed experience that will help other people. And consider this, as you keep stepping, as you choose not to give up, you are many steps ahead of those who chose to quit. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing for them, but in that, and this is important, in that we are the example. And this is not just about us, it's about other people. Choose to be the one that takes the high road. Choose to not give up, because there are plenty of people that have given up before the miracle ever happened. There's that regret again. Regret gets us nowhere. We don't want any part of regret. So change your perspective. Think about the example that you're setting for your children, the example that you're setting for your family and your friends. Maybe you haven't won the Nobel Peace Prize by now, or maybe you haven't got the best-selling book yet. But I believe that if you choose to be consistent, that all things work for the good, and you are setting the example. And maybe something never does get achieved in your lifetime. Maybe this one thing you're thinking about. What if along the way you've planted seeds to your children, and they become success stories. And I'm not just talking about money and fame. No, friends, this is about life everlasting. This is about their souls. So I hope you found this episode refreshing, and your assignment right now is to get a plan. There are too many things that get in our way to not have a plan. Isn't what you're striving for worth the effort? This is our life we're talking about. And essentially, it's a short life, and we never know if we have tomorrow. Therefore, choose today to make things right. Choose today to help someone else. Make that decision that someone else will be greatly influenced, greatly impacted by the decision you make today to not give up. Aristotle says, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. That's it for this week's episode, being consistent with your dreams. I hope you enjoyed, and next week we'll be talking about sharing your message of hope. If you would like to receive all my latest news and updates, kindly go to alysamassey.com or hit subscribe to this podcast. And remember, hang on to the hope within you, because the best is yet to come.